Hey guys, Devo here for Movies and TVs on the ball. And look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Now, I did a video earlier that I talked about the relationship between between Mary Jane Watson and Spider-Man to Peter Parker for Marvel Monday, and since yesterday was Superman Sunday, I'm just calling it that, or Man of Steel Monday, whatever. It's just, I was wondering, what is your thoughts on the not necessarily who was the best Superman and who was the best Lois Lane, but who was the best power couple when it came to Superman and Lois Lane. Now, coming from me, I would probably say that I liked Erica Denance and Tom Welling. And I feel like that they had a really good, strong relationship, character. But I was wondering what your thoughts on, and I think Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain did a really good job of playing kind of that relationship. But I feel like that show, Superman, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, really dealt with the dynamic between those two that I think is they focused so much on it that the dynamic between Superman, it's kind of off to the side a little bit. But then I think Henry Cavill and Amy Adams, for the Man of Steel and the Snyderverse, did a really good job of playing Superman and Lois Lane. I think she was spunkier. She had that, Amy Adams had that spunky feel to Lois Lane, and I feel like and I think Henry Cavill, it kind of embodied Superman. The Kate Bosworth and from Superman Returns, they had a really interesting dynamic. I think the film dealt with, him leaving and her falling in love with Cyclops. That, or James Madsen, I think. And I feel like they had pretty decent chemistry. I think she was a little bit too young for that version of Superman, but I feel like it was done okay, and I like the fact that, they had a kid and Superman. And then, of course, I think Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeves really had a great dynamic as Superman and Lois Lane. I think that their relationship, even on camera, was done very well. And then now, I was wondering what your thoughts, if anybody's seen the George Reeves, I can't remember who played Lois Lane in. I can't remember who played Lois Lane. Anyway, what's their How would you kind of describe their relationship between and how their chemistry works? And then, of course, I have not seen a lot of the Arrowverse version of Superman and Lois. I hate to say, but I was wondering if anybody's watching this, what was your thoughts on that relationship? Did they have a very good dynamic? Was the dynamic, interesting enough? Was it as good as comparing it to Tom Welling's Smallville Superman, which I felt like they had a really interesting dynamic just because, she brought the spunkiness. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. And the other thing I would like to ask you guys is, what is your thoughts on the new Superman film by James Gunn? How are you expecting, what is your thoughts and predictions of the relationship between, I can't remember, this Superman and Lois Lane? Let me know what your thoughts are on that. And as always, keep looking up to the sky, because there's always a bird, there's always a plane, and there's always Superman. I'm Steve. As always, hit that like button, subscribe, and you'll believe a man can fly. Peace.